JUN Kazama, one of the most mysterious and enigmatic characters in Tekken's long history. JUN is mostly popular among the Tekken fans who care more about Tekken's lore and style, rather than the competitive substance. Despite not canonically appearing since Tekken 2, rumour mills are always rampant about JUN's potential return, and if JUN finally does come back, it will be a truly notable moment. However, JUN has made her mark in the two tag games, and in Tag 2, her Kazama style is considerably transformed in comparison to Asuka, so we do have a fair amount to cover in this episode of Pro Tekken History. Here we go.
Final round, fight! Perfect! You win!
Unfortunately, despite how iconic JUN is, she was not a great character in Tekken 2. The main reason is because her string mix-ups are all very easy to duck and option select when you know what you're doing. JUN has to rely on her down back 4 low sweep to open turret to opponents up, and her only options after that are lows that can be blocked and punished, or her mid cartwheel that can be floated even if the sweep hits. This is all theory Tekken though, there weren't many Tekken 2 tournaments or a lot of competitive knowledge around those times to say the least, so JUN could easily vortex unknowing opponents with her 10-hit strings and 3-ring circus mix-ups. Or JUN can play defensively, threatening to counter-hit opponents with her can-cans, catching opponents coming in with her back 3 windmill kick, parrying predictable offense with her unchickenable parry, or with punishing eager opponents with 2 fairy. JUN has a lot of good tools, she was just a couple of key moves away from being a complete character. Speaking of, her block punishment is below average. She has an okay jab punish, a 14 frame launcher which is nice, but it's very short range and situational, and then a 16 frame standing launcher. And her crouch block punishment is abysmal. A normal while standing 4, the first 3 hits of her 10 stream at 15 frames, and then nothing. She has to crouch cancel to even launch hell sweeps. At the very least, when JUN does get a juggle, her damage is surprisingly good and she has solid Oki with her unblockable. JUN doesn't have amazing matchups, only ones she can survive and ones she can't. In effect, any character who can severely punish her string mix-ups like Wang or Kazuya, or her evasive moves like Heihachi and Paul. Not the best start for JUN, but maybe she'll get more fleshed out in the competitively built Tag Tournament.
Round 1, fight!
JUN got a solid number of buffs in Tag. Her Magic 4 is one of the best in the game at 10 frames with a fairly tight but consistent White Lotus follow-up. But her main buffs are a plethora of new moves. New powerful lows in back 1, a high crushing low that gives an attack throw on counter hit, and full crouch down forward 2, which is -9 on block and gives a free follow-up and tag out on counter hit too. She also got strong evasive high priority moves like while standing 3, the counter hit launching sidestep 4, the evasive tag launching down back 2 that you can slip between strings like Devil's Twin Pistons on block, and her 2+3 which is unsafe but parries high and low attacks in its startup frames for a launch. Her last strong new move is 1+2, a borderline safe 16 frame mid launcher that's a great tag punisher and a strong option to mix in neutral with her lows. All sounds pretty good, right? It is good, but it's not great. Let's move on to the next section and see why even all this wasn't enough to propel her to the top tiers. Despite all of these buffs, her block punishment still left a lot to be desired, especially in the crouching department. JUN is a defensive character, but she's more focused on creating whiffs, parrying moves, or beating opponents out with her high priority tools rather than just blocking and punishing. These tools are very good though. The evasive down back 2 is a great tag launcher, and some characters get follow-ups after a back 3 tag launch as well. JUN was a solid tag partner due to her low-hitting 3-wing circus pickup for tag juggles and her strong tag launches, but where JUN lacked the most was in pure damage. Although her key tools had great properties, she just didn't do enough damage to properly capitalize on them. JUN needed an extra juggle or a few extra pokes to deal comparable damage to harder hitting teams like Chains or Mishimas. Her pokes themselves weren't outstanding either, although they had great priority. Her fast mid pokes like down forward 1 and standing 2 did little damage and had little range respectively, and they were both linear. Her string offense was okay, but still had a lot of holes that were easy to counter with duck jabs. And to top it off, JUN was in the lowest endurance class, which wasn't terrible, though when fighting characters like Ogre and Devil the difference was noticeable over time. So JUN became a niche pick that only the most dedicated of players specialized in. JUN only had a single known tournament placement in Tag 1's lifespan. America's Hatman placed 3rd at the first ever Kumite in Tennessee, pairing JUN with Ogre. However, Hatman would later swap Ogre out for Brian. Hatman was known as the best JUN in America, the character being his specialty. Hatman certainly placed at more events, but this was the only recorded result we could find, that is. Other players who almost certainly placed include Hayden, whose JUN was more known for tricky Okazeme setups and Korea's Nonbu.
2-2, oh my
Possibly
god!
the last round of the year. Ace Unlimited, NYC Fab.
Gets the counter hit! We're gonna see a wall combo into some wall damage. I expect a tag assault.
And
Fab's
loses the
trying
red
to stay
light.
alive right now.
2 to 1.5 characters. It's that range 2 game.
Oh! Off axis, he got it. You gotta dash forward to line that up.
Oh, he doesn't complete the silly string. He knows. Oh, he's looking for it. He's looking for it.
Counter hit, drops the combo. He's off axis. You gotta be careful. All right, good call right
So
there.
close.
Bring back Bob. Okay.
Everyone's very quiet.
Oh, should have kept walking.
Oh, he didn't break the
We're gonna
throw.
see a
Red light's
reset.
gonna be here. Drops the combo.
Oh
a lot
my
of
goodness.
nerves
Okay,
on
you know
both
what?
sides.
Good call right there. Fab's got to play it safe. Keep the one with the most
30
life
seconds.
And I think
Bates!
this is it.
The low kick. Are you from Schenectady?
Unlimited takes NEC.
North Carolina!
JUN is considerably transformed in Tag 2, and yet when comparing her Tag 2 style to her original style in Tag 1, her strengths and weaknesses are very similar. What has changed are her biggest strengths. She's now more of a rush-down character, with strong counter-hitting tools that she got from Asuka such as down 2, up forward 3, and her 2-1 string where the second hit leads to a full string on counter hit, as well as her classic counter hit tools like sidestep 4 and full crouch down forward 2, which in this game leads to a full launch on counter hit with her up forward 3 that bounds. As well as this, she has pretty solid lows like her down mac 2 and down mac 3 that are both plus on hit, and although her attack priority isn't quite as strong as it was in Tag 1, her back 3 and while standing 3 are still very annoying to deal with, and she still has her classic parry and her 2+3 Sabaki. And to top it off, her whiff punishment is as great as ever, and her wall carry is excellent with her new stance transitions. However, she does have some weaknesses which we'll get to in the next section. Again, JUN's block punishment is subpar, no 15 frame launcher, and none of her smaller punishes knock down either. It's a little better in the crouch department with a high damage knockdown while standing 4 and a good 14 frame crouch punisher in while standing 2-1 though. Then we get to her other issues. JUN doesn't have any safe normal hit launchers, and in a game which is all about throwing out massive launchers to try and get tons of damage, wall pressure and end around with a single button, JUN's rush down chip heavy playstyle does lack that oomph. She doesn't have any high damage lows either, aside from her Zumo sweep that's launch punishable and the stance transitions themselves are easily interruptible on block. JUN's wall damage isn't great either, although that's more of a fringe case as most of the time you ideally be getting the wall bounce to tag assault for massive damage anyway. But getting back on point, the main reason why JUN maybe didn't reach her full potential in Tag 2 is because her playstyle revolves around trying to pressure and frustrate opponents to try and land her high damage counter hit options, or play defensively and try to make some whiffs. Both of these playstyles lose to Turtles, who are just waiting for a key opportunity. It's not impossible for Jun to open Turtles up, but it is tricky. Most of the game's top tiers like the Mishimas, Jinpachi, Bruce, and more all have excellent high damage lows that make the opponent feel like they're never safe. Jun's key tools aren't quite as threatening if you just block when she has advantage. With that being said, a number of players did have success with Jun, notably all in the West. The two most successful Jun players were America's Ace Unlimited and Holland's Malekith, who paired Jun with Jin and Asuka respectively. Ace Unlimited had a number of top 8 placements across majors in America, notably including back-to-back 4th places at CEO 2014 and 2015, and a 1st place early in Tag 2's lifespan at NEC 13. Malekith also had top 8 placements at Red Fight Districts and Europe's biggest major, Ultimate Tournament, most notably placing 3rd at the stacked Ultimate Tournament 15. Other players who made top 8s with Jun include Overall with King and Jun at the Fall Classics 2013, Elite with Jun and Asuka at NEC 14, and a JUN Fergus at Red Fight District 3 with his Asuka and Jun team. And that's it! So, how strong was Jun competitively in the few Tekkens she appeared in? Well, she did get slightly more fleshed out and competent in each game she appeared in. While Asuka became the poster child for the Kazama style in modern Tekkens, Jun came back with a new stance-heavy rushdown oriented style in Tag 2. Rumours are strong that Jun may make a canonical return in the next Tekken, so we may be seeing much more of Jun very, very soon. Thanks for watching.